energy is the most important power on Earth. We use it to charge up our electronic devices or to launch rockets or control countries. In physics, it is defined as the capacity for doing work. It has many sources. One of them is the solar energy. That will be the subject of this video. If we say enormous renewable source of energy, we say solar energy. It is created by nuclear fusion that takes place in the sun's core. It takes the form of an electromagnetic radiation that fly away from the sun in all directions. The most majority of these waves are invisible to us. We can divide them into 3 different categories of radiation based on the value of their frequencies. But first of all, we have to know the meaning of a frequency. Well, listen. A frequency is the number of repeating events by unit of time. In our case, the event is the wavelength. These two notions are inversely proportional to each other. That means that waves with a high frequency have a short wavelength, and that's equal to very high energy, while the inverse is right. Now coming back to the classification of sun's radiation, which is high, middle, and low frequency. Waves with high frequency include gamma rays, X-rays, and ultraviolet rays. The most harmful ultraviolet radiation are absorbed by the Earth's atmosphere, so they can't reach us, while the less dangerous ones travel through it and can cause sunburns in our skin, while the waves with much lower frequency are represented by the infrared rays. Between them, there is the visible spectrum, which gives birth to all the colors we see in our world. All these rays together create heat, light, and energy we need to live. Fortunately, all this energy given to us by the sun can be harvested for human uses through many technologies which can be active or passive methods. The active harvest can be used by electrical or mechanical devices to convert solar energy into another form. The most famous device that we all know, it is photovoltaics, which are a collection of dozens or sometimes hundreds of solar cells, discovered in the first place by the French physicist Becquerel. But did you ever wonder how they work? When the solar rays come from the sun and reach the solar cells, the semiconductor in them will help to direct the electrical field to the electron current, then transfer it to an external object, which can be a small calculator or a whole power station. And you have to keep in mind that one solar cell can generate 2 watts of energy, while the passive harvest is often evolved in this design of buildings, or what we call it, the solar architecture. Now, what are the advantages that the solar energy will give us? First of all, we all know that it is a renewable source. That means we're gonna have a steady limitless supply of sunlight for another 5 billion years. Can you imagine that in 1 hour, Earth's atmosphere receives enough sunlight to power the electricity needs of every human being on Earth for a year? The second positive point is that solar energy is a clean source. That means the solar technology equipment doesn't need fuel to work. It also doesn't emit greenhouse gases or toxic material, so we can say it is environmentally friendly. The homeowners or business owners that use solar panels can produce excess electricity, and that makes them capable of selling energy back to electrical provider, with reducing or even eliminating power bills. And of course, everything has a dark side. The one of solar energy is represented by the expensive solar equipment. Also, purchasing and installing it can cost a lot of money. And if your roof is not large and strong enough, you may destroy all your home if you try to install the equipment above them. Because they are very heavy, so the roof must be strong, large, and oriented toward the sun's path. Also, solar energy depends on factors we cannot control, such as climate and cloud cover, which make it difficult to rely on it as the only source of energy. And we reached the end of our video. I hope that this video was fun and useful for you. If it was, don't forget to like it and subscribe in the channel to get more of this.